Hey guys, so today I'm going to be showing you guys what to do when your barrel doesn't swell all the way or you have a leak. So with this video, I actually tried to do what I did in my previous video where I swelled the barrel and then I put a little bit of rum in it in this barrel. It's still leaking a little bit. I need to get a beer in it soon, so I don't really have time to sit there and let it sit for days. Plus, I already put the liquor in, so I don't want to have to fill it back up, get rid of the liquor flavor. This is just another way to do it that kind of conceals that flavor, so you don't have to worry about losing anything by filling the barrel. So what we're going to be doing tonight is we're actually going to be waxing the barrel. We're going to be using paraffin wax. As far as I've seen, that's the recommended wax to use. There's all kinds of different things called barrel wax that have a little bit of beeswax in it. Paraffin wax seems to work just fine on everything I've researched, so that's what we're going to be using. You can get paraffin wax at any supermarket. Just go to where the mason jars are. Any aisle that's a jarring aisle, you can go to like a arts and crafts store like a Michael's. They should have it. The stuff we're going to be using is Gulf wax. So, like I said, this wax is used for when you're canning things in like mason jars or making your own candles. So an unscented wax is ideally what you want. There's a couple ways to do this. The way we're going to be doing it, I'm going to actually just use the actual piece of paraffin and try to get one of these out of here. I'll get that out later. But I'm going to actually be using one of the blocks of paraffin. You can see that's what they look like. We're going to be using a block of paraffin, and we're going to actually be basically scraping it onto the barrel. Other ways I've seen to do it, you can melt it into a pot and paint it on with like a paintbrush. You just got to remember to keep it hot, and essentially either one works. So the way we're doing it, we're going to be basically drawing with it onto the barrel, and then you're going to heat it to get it to set. I'm going to be using a heat gun. So this heat gun in particular is just a fire starter for my big green egg. If you have an actual heat gun, that'll work. I don't know if a blow dry will work. You got to get this stuff a little bit hotter to melt it. It might take a little while. You can also use a torch that you can get at like Home Depot. The benzomatic torches. If you have like a creme brulee torch, anything like that can work. If you're just doing a small area, I'm sure a lighter would work. Anything like that would work. But basically, you just want to heat the wax so it sets. So let me show you what the barrel's looking like. So here's the barrel. You can see where the areas where it's leaking. It looks a lot worse than it really is. The leak's not actually that bad. The main leak is probably around the band. This was a dark rum barrel from Bluebird Distilling that actually had maple syrup in it. So I got this from a maple syrup vendor in Pennsylvania. Whiskey Hollow is the name of the people. They actually just do they do all kinds of maple syrup that was aged in barrels, so bourbon, whiskey, rum. It's pretty interesting. So if you're in the PA area, definitely check them out. It's Whiskey Hollow. Try some of their honeys. It's pretty good. But basically, this barrel held syrup for a while, so there's some syrup still in it. It was dry for about 5 months after I bought it. I just didn't get a chance to fill it. So we hydrated. I floated in my bathtub for about 12 hours. It definitely absorbed a lot of the water. Then what's in there now is actually a dark rum. It is not the Bluebird rum, as much as I would have liked to have used that, but it is a dark rum. So that's in there now, and I've lost a good bit of it to absorption and leaking. So what we're going to do is we're going to work on sealing all these joints and just get the whole barrel ready to actually hold a beer. So let me get this everything prepped, and then we'll show you what it looks like. Alright, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using this paraffin wax. So essentially we're going to do all the sides and the face. So all you're going to do is just come onto the barrel like this, and you're literally just going to draw on it. Obviously focus on the areas that you have seams, but I would still get all of the wood as much as you possibly can. Really get that in there. Since the wood is coarse, the wax should stick pretty well. Try to get around the bands as much as you can. Alright, then what you do is We're then going to heat it. So since I'm using my fire starter, this just blows really hot air. So we're just going to turn that on, get that going. So the hot air is going to come out. And then the wax is actually immediately, you can actually, I don't know if you could see that, but you can see the wax is actually already melting. And you can see where the barrel actually gets a little wet from the wax. You don't have to do this too long. I mean, with this, it's already pretty melted. Just get as much of it as you can, and that's it. So you can see the wax is nice and melted, and it's set pretty well to the touch. It's still a little wet, so you definitely have to let it dry. But that's all it is. That's as easy as you do it. So again, you can use a torch. You don't need to use a heat gun like I am, but it worked pretty well. So let me finish this barrel up, and then I'll show you what it looks like when we're done. Okay, so you can see where some of the areas the grain was just a little deeper, so I'll go back over those just to get the seal really good. But you can see the most important parts were along the seam. That's the area that we're going to really want to focus on. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back through this entire barrel. I'm going to do both sides, and then I'll show you what it looks like to do the face. Okay, so everywhere but right there, you can see the difference. It has been waxed. I'll get to that at the end. You can see it looks a lot more moist. It's just the wax. It's definitely got a little bit more of a waxy coating to it. I am going to go back. I know which staves are the leaky ones. I'm going to go back and hit each joint again on those leaky ones. That way we get extra wax on them. So now we're doing the top. The top is a little rougher. You can see I'm pushing pretty hard. It doesn't come off as doesn't come on as easy as the sides did, but that's okay. The main part of the top that you're going to want is the sides. So this would probably be a good time to actually melt the wax down and drip them into the sides. This barrel in particular actually is not leaking on the face, so I'm not going to really worry too much about it. You can actually see there's actually a little wax in there already from the manufacturer, so the face isn't leaking at all. I'm just doing this to kind of be consistent. Okay, so this is the finished product. You can see right in here where I couldn't really get too close to the bung, where it's not waxed. A little clumped on here, but you can just melt that in. Alright, so that's how you wax your barrel if you're having any leaking issues. The other way is if you look at my other videos, there is the way how to rehydrate the barrel. I would definitely try that first before you do any of the waxing, just to get that wood as much moisture as it can get. The wax may even help with keeping oxygen out too, so might be another reason to do it. So it was pretty easy. It probably took me overall maybe an hour to do it all with the heat gun. And I hear the paintbrush method's actually pretty quick, so if you want to try that, go for it. Any questions, feel free to comment below. Make sure you like, subscribe, and look out for some more videos.